You ever quickly wanted to query your application and get something that AI could pass or get back a response that you could pass to a script? Well, Rails has an answer. Up until now, we've had access to the Rails runner command, which you can use to query your database, for instance. But the response from Rails runner is unstructured, so the output you get is just plain text. It has no write safety and it has no pagination at all. And that's where Rails query comes in. To start with, our application has an account model which has many users, it has many posts, and it has an enum called plan. It also has a user model that belongs to an account, and it has many posts and it has many comments. And then it also has a post model which belongs to an account and then belongs to a user and again has many comments here. We have our schema nicely here, and here I want to show you something cool. I'll copy the schema here and then I'll paste it into Rails ERD, which is an application I built for you to visually learn the relationship between your models. So you can see our models nicely arranged here. All right, first command we want to run is the Rails query account, where plan is premium, and I'll limit it to 5 here. If I press enter, we should see a JSON text, but that's not formatted. So I'll pipe this to JQ, which is a JSON processor. If I do that, you should see a nice blob of JSON here. If we scroll up, you're going to see the columns and obviously the rows. And if you scroll down, you're going to see some meta information that shows row count, query time in milliseconds, page per page, and also if this result set has more results. Then you can actually see the SQL that we run or the SQL that we pass to Rails query. Rails query also takes a --SQL flag with which you can pass the exact query that you want to pass to it. This way you can avoid running any Ruby code. So if I press enter here, I'm going to see a similar result set that we had. We have our columns, we have our rows, and then we have our metadata. You can also get a scalar result set. If you do Rails query account.count, you should get a result set that includes just the number of the accounts in our database. Here we have a results column and then the rows and then the number of accounts that we have. Again, we have our metadata here too. This is the write safety that I spoke to you earlier about. If you pass as --SQL and then you insert into the data table, now look what I'm going to get here. If I press enter, I'm going to get a message that says something like write query attempted while in read-only mode. It's safe enough that you can run this with Kamal app exec or however you want to run this. We also get a command to show us our schema. So if I do Rails query schema, I should see a description of our schema and what it looks like. Here we have columns, it has the table name, and then we have the rows, it shows our accounts, it shows our comments, and then it shows our posts and users as well. And here again, also we have our metadata. We can also dig into the models themselves. If we run Rails query schema account, we get our column with a description of what it looks like. And then if we scroll down, we can see the enums that we had previously, and then also the associations. This is the complete picture of your data model in one command. An agent doesn't need to guess what plan:1 means. It's right there inside the description in the schema provided by Rails query. Next up is Rails query models. Now this gives automated tooling a full map of your ActiveRecord layer. So I'm talking about model names, table names, and all associations without touching the database schema directly. And we have obviously our account, and then take note here we have action mailbox inbound email, which is a model that comes inbuilt with Rails itself. Even query analysis is covered. With Rails query explain runs the databases explain on any expression and returns the plan. This is very useful if you're building tooling that needs to reason about query performance. It gives you the query plan, the type of scan that we are doing here. We could do some optimization here, and then again we have our metadata. Then we have page pagination customization options with the dash page and then the dash pair, which would return the number of results per page that we expect. So I'm piping this to JQ here, and then I'm going to actually scroll down to the metadata section. You're going to see the SQL query and then the metadata that shows the pagination options that we passed. Now here is a nice little trick that I want to show you about Rails query. You can actually export the response to a CSV by piping it to @CSV, and then you're going to have a CSV of the result set, and then you can do whatever you want with it. Now, there are two things that you need to know about Rails query, and the first one concerns active support instrumentation. Rails query actually emits a query.rails notification that comes with a payload of the query or the expression that was evaluated. Now, this can be used as a hook for tools like Console 1984 to subscribe and log who ran what in production, and this way you don't have to patch the comment yourself. So this comes inbuilt and it's enterprise ready for your Rails application in production. Another thing you need to know is that Rails query, the command, is on the same trust level as bin Rails runner or bin Rails console. That means that it evaluates Ruby, and the command doesn't run in a sandbox. So sort of like the only way you can lock down on what can actually run is by passing the --SQL command to it. So these are two things that you should know about the usage of Rails query. If you're running a multi-database setup, say primary and a read replica, Rails query has you covered with the --database flag. You pass in the name of the database configuration exactly as it appears in your database.yaml, and Rails query connects to that one specifically. For a single database app, you don't need this at all. It just works, but for apps where reads and writes are split across connections, this is how you make sure you're hitting the right one. And the read-only enforcement still applies regardless of which database you target. Now, AI hasn't caught up to the usage of Rails query just yet, and so I think it would be useful if you had a skill to attach to your agent so that it can know exactly what to do and how to use this feature in your Rails application. For this reason, I'm going to link a skill that was composed by the author of this feature. You can find it in the link below. I'll do my best to look for it and then attach it to the links in the description. To that end, I think that would be it for today. That's all I have time for, and I'm going to see you in the next one.